Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ultimate Insider, Bear Insiders podcast. I'm Mike Pawlawski, and today we are talking about the Art of Sport LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. That's a mouthful when it comes to bowl games. But it's the Bears versus UNLV. A lot to talk about. I actually got to interview Teddy Buchanan this week. So there's a guy who, through the blessing of the transfer portal and NIL, came to Cal and did a fantastic job this year, earned all ACC honors as a linebacker, 112 tackles. So a fantastic year for Teddy. He was one of our exemplary players this year. So I have an interview with him coming up. I want to talk about the game a little bit because we don't get to see UNLV very often. And so what we can expect going in. If you know anything about them or if you've studied a little bit about UNLV, you know they run what's called a go-go offense. And so essentially the go-go offense has taken little parts of everything. They run the zone running game, so stuff like duo. They'll run inside zone, outside zone. They run a little bit of gap scheme, which is counter and power. So something else that you have to be aware of if you're a defensive coordinator. And then they run some option off of it. And so there's straight option, there's RPO option, and then there's true triple option, which is dive, keep, and pitch. And so you have to be really, really sound on defense if you're trying to cover all of that. The key for the defense this game, and again, we'll talk to Teddy about this a little bit coming up, is to tackle the ball, be sound in your assignment. That's really the key for defense any game, but because defensive players start to get nosy, try to get an extra hat to the ball if they can sniff out counter or power and get the extra player there. And that's really kind of the goal, is to gang tackle. The option makes you stay entirely focused on your assignment. And so if you are a one-on-one tackle the dive guy, you need to tackle the dive every time. You can't say, oh, I think the quarterback kept it and go. If you are a one-on-one tackle the ball guy, which would be the quarterback, then you have to go tackle the quarterback, tackle the ball, make sure he doesn't escape you. And then if you are the pitch guy, you have to stay home. You can't say, ooh, I think the quarterback has it and dive inside. Or you can't say, ooh, I think they gave it to the dive and dive inside. No, you have to stay home, do your assignment, tackle the pitch. And so that's it. This go-go offense, there's nothing new to it. It's just the way they package it. They have some funky formations where they give you two running backs side by side next to the quarterback, left or right. But they'll use him just the same way that you use him out of an offset eye or power eye look. It just gives you a couple different things to consider as a defensive coordinator. So that's one of the things on defense that we're going to have to worry about. They have a very good quarterback in Haj Malik Williams. This guy is a dual threat guy. He's a transfer from Campbell College. So he's an FCS transfer into UNLV. Really fast. He's another running back when he has the ball in his hand. He can throw it, but the passing game is not their mainstay on offense. The running game, running that duo, running that gap scheme, running that option is a big part of what they do. And it's hard if you haven't been practicing it all year long as a defense, because now you have to learn new assignments, new rules, new techniques, and be super sound in everything you do. And so that's what the Bears defense has their hands full in terms of that system. They have a really, really good wide receiver in Ricky White. He is the main target by far. 79 catches this year, has over 1,000 yards receiving. I think he has 11 touchdowns on the season. So really good football player out there. Also does a lot in their special teams as well. So the guy he's a stud. He is probably a next-level guy, 6'1", 190. And so he's a guy who I think will see time. He'll at least go to camp, and I think he'll probably make it through at least his first couple camps in the NFL. So really good football player. Another guy they have to keep their eye on, main running back, Jaden Thomas. He's got 800 and something yards this year. He's got the lion's share of the carries. And so he's another guy that you have to be aware of if you're on defense. That's kind of the trio on offense for UNLV that you have to be aware of. And so then when you turn it over, you look at their defense, what they do on defense, is it kind of mirrors what they do on offense. They have guys who like to be active, like to be aggressive. They throw some stuff at you that you have to handle. And so they'll show you sugared linebackers where they're up and they're giving you different looks. They'll show you stand-up defensive ends, stand-up linebackers, down defensive ends, kind of an odd front mostly, but then they'll walk a linebacker up that gives it an even feel to it. So 3 men down, as it were, to start, and then walk a linebacker in to give you kind of an even front. So 4 men in those gaps that you have to worry about as an offensive line. But then they'll pressure. They'll bring pressure from the nickel. They'll bring pressure from the linebacker. They'll bring pressure from different spots. And they have a bunch of sacks spread across defensive linemen, linebackers, nickel players, because they all come in pressure. They all find a way to bring heat that way. And so they keep you guessing as an offense. They play a ton of either man or match looks when they play defense. They have, I think, 3 of their 4 starting defensive backs are either second team or honorable mention all Mountain West Conference, so pretty good in the secondary. And part of that is the pressure that they get from putting it on up front. And so that's a big piece of it. Their defensive linemen all have sacks, right, like I said, across the board. But they play a ton of man behind it. They get some pressure, so they try to force you to throw the ball right now. And there's always a couple of zone players who are free to make plays. I haven't seen a ton of zero pressure on film. They don't gamble that much, even though they are from Vegas. Sorry for the pun. But they're a team who will get after you, they'll blitz you, they'll pressure you, and they try to play man, lock it down, and throw your timing off. And if they can do that, they're in pretty good shape. They have a really good run defense. Not that Cal has a great rushing offense. But the rush defense, 109.8, number 17 in the country. Bears, by the way, coming into this 107.1. They are 15th in the country, so great rush defense for Cal this year as well. In terms of scoring defense, they're giving up 21.9, so it's a good number 37 in the country. Cal's giving up 22.2. They are 42nd in the country in terms of scoring defense. So defensively, it looks to be an even match. Now, that said, Cal, for the most, has been playing better opponents. They have, they're playing through the ACC, playing teams like Miami, who's pretty good. Both teams played Syracuse, so good teams. Cal played Pitt, it was a good offensive team at the time and held them to a low scoring number. And so you've seen some good teams for Cal. I think the Mountain West isn't quite as strong as the opponents Cal faced this year. But common opponents have been common results. Both teams beat San Diego State by 27 points, I think it was. And so both teams, lost in close ones to Syracuse. It came down to overtime for UNLV versus Syracuse. And so that was a big loss for them, but both teams lost close, although Cal's Syracuse game felt a lot worse than a close loss. And so we'll see what happens when we show up on film. There's a ton of other things about this game that are just kind of crazy. UNLV losing their head coach right after their championship loss to Boise State. He is off to go coach at Purdue. Cal obviously did not renew Mike Blesh, offensive coordinator. Cal loses Fernando Mendoza, who goes into the transfer portal. And then our backup, Chandler Rogers, got injured at SMU. And so likely we're going to see C.J. Harris as a starter in this game for Cal. We'll probably see E.J. Kamenong. I went out to practice earlier in the week. Got to see both of those guys operating in the offense. There's definitely some rust. And so it takes a lot of reps to get ready for playing. And this late in the season, teams have been playing and guys have been playing all season long. It takes a lot to get up to game speed right away. So 1 week of game reps will be nice. It's not necessarily enough to get you there, but hopefully it'll be good enough for the Bears. I'm just hoping they can score some points in this game and show up on offense. Jay Knott is healthy for all I know. And the Jet, obviously, Javian Thomas, also healthy coming into this game for what I know. So we'll see coming up. Javian Thomas obviously did not play in this last game versus SMU, but we'll see if he plays in this game. Bears are favored coming into the game, which I thought was pretty interesting based on Fernando being gone. It's a big piece of the offense. Fernando essentially drove the offense. And so it's going to be a tough one to see if they can get there offensively to get it done. I don't know. It's interesting. I wish I could give you something more to hang your hat on. In games like this, if you can run the ball, and UNLV is number 5 in the country at running the football, over 250 yards a game on the ground. If you can run the ball, it gives you the advantage, especially if you're doing something like the option. So interesting that the Bears were favored to me, although, again, Mountain West not quite as strong as the ACC. So we'll see what comes up. Right now, I'm going to get you my interview with Teddy, and then we'll go forward from there.
So, Teddy, you finished off a great season this season at Cal. Tell me what it means to you to get a bowl game as part of that to finish the season.
Oh, it means a ton. like you said, it was an amazing season. Obviously some ups and downs, but overall super happy with the way guys prepared and the way guys fought. And to finish it off with a bowl game is huge, especially for me. Um, this being my last chance to play college football at all, so it means a ton. And this being also my first year on the FBS level, first bowl game, all those things together make it really special.
Yeah, so unique for you this year because you come in, transfer from UC Davis, and like you said, an FCS guy, and you come in, transfer into the FBS level, and you didn't get spring ball. You got to hang around the team, but you weren't practicing during spring ball, so you had to learn everything once you started playing in the fall. What was that like for you, coming from Davis, playing at Cal, and having to learn it last minute?
Yeah. Well, a big reason why I chose Kyle was I was able to, come down to spring ball. Like you said, I couldn't practice, but just getting to understand how practice is run and how the culture of everything worked, how meetings flowed was super helpful for when I came in the summer and then when we transitioned in the fall. Um, Coach Thurman and Coach Bruno, we met on Zoom a ton during that time to fill me in with the defense. Luckily, I had 4 years of experience at Davis, so I was pretty familiar with, defense in general, but um, you can't really learn a defense until you actually do it. So fall camp, I did have to, learn quickly, but fortunately there's really great coaches and great players around me that helped me. And, you know, it was a challenge, but I think it worked out well and I was able to pick things up pretty quickly.
I love when I come out, I'm a former quarterback, but I love talking to Peter Thurman, just defensive guy, really thoughtful, great coach. And one of the things that he kept telling me about you is that you're a pro's pro, a guy who knows how to study, knows how to get work done, and knows how to learn. Where did that come from? Where did you get those skills?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that was instilled for me, from my parents, just seeing how they worked so hard and, the love that they poured into me. And then, I've had great coaches all throughout my life that have kind of taught me the proper way to prepare. And then I think Coach Thurman, like you said, he's an amazing coach, just such a um, great football mind. Really helped me feel confident in learning and in that preparation. Just the notes that he was able to give me made it so much easier for me to prepare. So just following his lead and yeah, it made it really easy for me to pick things up like the defense and yeah, to prepare as best as I could.
Did it mean something that with Peter, he's a guy who didn't just coach at this level, but played at this level? That he was he able to give you more insights based on that?
Absolutely. He's always talking to us from the perspective of a player, which is something that I really like. He references, experiences that he's had and things that he's gone through, so it makes it really relatable when he's able to talk about those things and um, not just be all X's and O's. He if you're able to make a great play that's not necessarily, exactly in line with your technique, it's something that, he'll give you credit for. And, it's the kind of if you take it, make it mindset. But yeah, he gives us a ton of freedom as players and makes it super, super clear what our assignment is. And this allows us to play fast.
What did people miss about you coming out? Obviously, you ended up at UC Davis, and you were a
Yeah.
stud at UC Davis. What did they miss?
Man, I think having reflected on it, I think that I was a younger kid in my grade. I was 16 going into my senior year of high school. Came into college at 17, so I think that's a part of it. I think I played my best football my senior year of high school, which isn't necessarily great for recruiting. A lot of guys are already locked in by the junior year. That's kind of what happened to me. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I'm not necessarily like a flashy guy, not a huge social media guy. So, it can be um, difficult to, get the attention that way. But I think in the end, everything worked out the way it was supposed to be. I'm super grateful for the coaches at Cal to, allow me to join for my fifth year and give me the opportunity to play at the FBS level. I had an amazing year. So, um, yeah, ultimately, I think everything worked out the way it should have. And yeah.
You may not be flashy on social media, but I tell you what, you flash on the field. You definitely show up, my friend. We call a game on radio, and I'm calling your name all the time. Like, oh, hey, look, who made another tackle? Is Teddy right there on the play. So it's always fun to watch you. What does it mean to step up from Davis and then to become an all ACC player? Your first year in the league to become an all conference player. I mean, how much validation does that give you as a player?
Yeah, it felt good. For me, it really just felt good for the work I put in the off season, the work I put in for 4 years leading up to it, for everything to just pay off. I mean, I know the work I've put in, I know the type of player I am, but for other people to see it was cool. It's not necessarily, the goal, but it is cool to be recognized. In the ACC as a first team player, it was definitely an honor. And again, I'm super grateful for, my teammates and my coaches to help elevate me to that level. So, yeah, I think in the end, it's just a testament to the work I was able to put in, and I'm super grateful and humbled to be given that honor.
And what is it about this defense that allows you to be so successful? That allows linebackers to be so successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really starts with Coach Thurman. His defense, just the way he coaches us. Again, we know our job 100%, and because of that, we're able to play fast. And we have an amazing D line. Those guys do a super good job making it easy for us linebackers to be free. DBs do a great job in coverage, allowing us to play, more run friendly coverages. And yeah, I think it's really just a collaborative effort, and just ends up working out for the linebackers, and it is a whole team effort.
And talk about what you're doing this week to kind of soak it all in for your last week here, last week as part of this team, your last week of college football. You get to celebrate in a bowl, travel together. What are you doing to soak it all in, to make this experience memorable?
Yeah, I've just been trying to just enjoy the time with the guys as much as possible. I was here in the spring and then got here officially in the summer, but I made a ton of really good connections. I'm with these guys every single day for, many, many hours. So we become super close. So I'm just really trying to enjoy my time with the guys. Just try and slow down and just have as much quality time with them as possible, before it's all said and done. So I think that's what I'm doing. And then I'm obviously just gonna, when I'm out there in practice field, just, slowing down, not thinking about what's the next period, just trying to stay in the moment. So yeah, it is surreal to have it all, come to an end here, but just trying to enjoy it right now.
And tell me this. So this game, you get what they call the go-go offense, right? It's a lot of triple option stuff that you now have to read, right? You probably saw some of that, maybe North Dakota State or North Dakota. One of them ran it, right? But probably haven't seen that all year long before this game, have you?
Not the way that UNLV has done. We faced some speed option, different things like that, but not a lot of true triple option.
And it's so assignment oriented. Tell me what you guys have to do differently against UNLV.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we just have to stick to our assignment. There's the dive, the quarterback, the pitch. So just knowing what you are in different calls is key, and that's something we've practiced. And I feel confident. It was my job, and I feel confident with the guys around me to do their job. So I think we'll be good on Wednesday.
So what is the key for option football?
Man, just sticking to your assignment. Not trying to do too much. Everyone has a job to do, and if everyone's able to do that job, then the option can be stopped.
Tackle everybody, right? Tackle the dive, tackle the pitch, tackle the ball. Like just tackle everybody and let it sort out at the end, right?
Yep.
So a tough one. Tell me about UNLV. What do you see on film?
I think their quarterback is a really good player. He's able to run the ball, obviously, and then take a lot of big shots down the field. Quality running backs. I think their O-line does a good job. I think their tight ends are able to block and get out running routes. So yeah, it's going to take a group effort from us. They've won a ton of games this year, so no matter what level you want to say they're on, it doesn't matter. They've won 10 games, or I think they have. And yeah, they're a really good team, really good, really well coached. So yeah, it's going to take a group effort from us defensively.
And then obviously you're a product of the transfer portal, NIL. The big news this week, obviously Fernando Mendoza enters the transfer portal, and Isaiah Hunter entered the transfer portal. Talk about what it feels like from both ends of that, if you don't mind, about being a guy transferring in, using it to your advantage, and then having teammates who also use it for themselves. You don't begrudge anybody anything, but at the same time, team is not the same when guys can lead, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the nature of college football at this point. I think I saw something today is like 2,000 guys in the portal, which is crazy. But right now, all we can do is focus on who's here, and really the guys that have been with us all season will get a chance to play that I haven't necessarily gotten a chance to show that much. So super excited for those guys, and yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of college football right now. Guys have options, and that's just the reality of it. So we're just focused on who we have and just trying to win the LA Bowl on Wednesday.
I love it. I'm going to give you one last chance here. So here's your opportunity. How do you want Cal fans and your teammates to remember Teddy Buchanan as a Cal football player?
Yeah, I just want to remember it as, a hard worker, a selfless guy, a team first guy. And yeah, just someone who loves to be a Cal Bear. I mean, I grew up in the Bay. Cal was my dream school, and for me to get to come back was just a dream come true for me, truly. So just a guy who represented the team and just gave it everything he had.
Well, I'll tell you, as a guy who played here, I appreciate the hell out of you. It's been great watching you this year. I expect you to have a great game. Tackle a damn ball, right? The option, tackle a damn ball.
Got to.
Awesome, brother. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, have a good one.
So that's it. My last pregame podcast of the year. I always love doing these things for you. So Bears fans, it's always great. You guys have been fantastic all year long again as well. Looking forward to seeing what happens in this bowl game. Calling it for you. Don't forget, you can catch Justin and I on 810, which is now KSFO. And you can hear our broadcast there, 6 o'clock tomorrow, which is the 18th. Hopefully we'll meet Gronk before the game. That'll be fun. But looking forward to calling this game, and I look forward to bringing this. In the offseason, we'll be talking about recruiting, NIL transfer portal. I've got some ideas on how this thing could change coming up soon in terms of teams finding at least some stability, right? You're still going to have the teams that have the money, that have the boosters, that have the money, that support their teams, that are going to have the best chance at winning, because you can't restrict trade in any way that's going to inhibit players from being able to earn money now. The NC2A was a monopoly for too long. And so trying to restrict players' trade now by telling them they can't go on the open market and use their name for what it's worth, they've already proven that teams will pay that. And so since there's a market for it, if you try to restrict that down, it's an antitrust deal, it's restriction of trade, and that is not going to fly under the antitrust rules. So, but there's ways to make it happen where people can enter into agreements that are not then trade restricting. That's for another time. For now, appreciate you guys watching. As always, for Bear Insider and Ultimate Insider Podcast, I am Mike Pawlawski. I'll talk to you guys during the LA Bowl tomorrow. Go Bears.